Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Matt Chat number 67 with Mr. Yarwood and Coach Les here tonight talking about the importance of membership. And what does that look like for students and for us? So welcome, Mr. Yarwood. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello,
Mike's
hello.
yours.
Yeah, so I've been working with uh, a guy who's in my organization, who is he's kind of our go-to guy when it comes to the business side of running a school. He's developed a lot of programs within our organization. Plus, he also develops programs specifically for his school. And for the last year and a half, almost, we've been doing meetings and learning about just a ton of stuff about how to grow our business, how to make our business stronger, more successful. And he's basically now become like a mentor to me. And mentorship is something that I didn't really think about as I was growing my business to start with. I thought I could do it all by myself. I thought I knew how to do it. I saw my instructor do it, so I can do it, right? And I didn't, for quite a while, I didn't really reach out on a regular basis for somebody to help me, to give me guidance, to tell me where I'm messing things up, to tell me to turn right instead of turn left, or just evaluate or watch or look or whatever. All those things that an outside view, can do. So it over this last year and a half, I've really started to realize how important having somebody like that in my life to help me with my business has become, and invaluable. And he's a text and a phone call away, right? And it's a 2-minute call, or he puts me, like the other day I was on with him for an hour, right? It's really kind of whatever it is I'm looking for and I need, he finds the time to give it to me, to help me with whatever ideas that I might come up with, or things that aren't working for me, or just bounce ideas off of something that he's already done that he can have a better way of doing it, or for him to tell me I'm being dumb and I need to stop. Who knows what it is, right? Keep me honest, I guess. And we always think about, I think we discussed mentors in the past, but I think it was more focused on the students looking for mentorship from us as instructors, right? We didn't really touch on what we need from our mentors, and do we have them, and do we have the humility to accept the fact that we can use mentors, right? I'm not necessarily talking about, you're my business coach, right? That's a whole, it's similar, but it's not the same thing, right? You help me specifically with just like business stuff that we talk about that affects, we look at business, which is what I do, but it kind of helps me with my other stuff, right? He is specifically he does exactly what I'm doing, right? So he has an insight as a mentor that you don't have into my running of a martial arts school. So he's the mentor side, where he plugs those holes in that are specifically for martial arts, running a martial arts business, right? So where you're my coach, my business coach, he fills in the gaps that you don't have because you don't run a martial arts school. Does that make sense?
It does.
So that's how it was, the Venn diagram happens, right? Where those two meet, right? That's where everything that's where you guys are. So I got him on one side, you on the other, and then you overlap. So for me, I found that it's super important to have somebody who will kick you in the butt and also pat you on the back, right? Say, hey, you're doing things right, or hey, we can fix this, we can work on this, we can talk about this, and it's specific to my business. And I just think that we get stubborn. We think we can do everything. We think we know everything. We've seen it all. We've done it all. Been there, done that. I've been doing this for 15 years. I know You don't know everything. There's no way you can know everything. And you have one perspective, right? Your mentor has a whole different perspective. Your coach has another perspective. right? You can learn from that. And if you're too stubborn to realize it, or you're too arrogant to realize it, you're not going to be as successful as you could, because you're not listening to other people. And maybe something they tell you doesn't work, but it sparks another different idea that helps you, that you hadn't thought about before. So having a mentor, as in my position, I think has been a game changer for me, because I mean, I can run numbers and tell you how much more successful I've become because I've had somebody helping me along the way. Maybe I'm missing pitfalls that I would have fell into because he guided me around them, that I wouldn't have known were there. So I just think it's a vital part of being not just a martial arts instructor, but a business owner, right? That has a direct effect on how my business operates, how successful it can be.
Well, and I think part of when I think of um, the mentorship piece, I'm hunting for a picture that I've created that looks like a bullseye target. And for me, this picture has been the epitome of what is coaching, and how does it differ from and I found it, so hold on one second, I'll be able to look it up here. There. For me, there's a set of levels that you work your way up to coaching, and from like looking at a dartboard. Now, of course, to find it again, as I just got hijacked from what I was doing. Is that we talk about, here we go. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. There we go.
Yep.
All right, so that's it. I'm going to let you, if you need to take a screenshot on your end, and then I'm going to turn it around. But my goal has been, as a coach, is I do something, I share about something, then we do it together. If you're dealing with a breakdown in that area, and then I set it up so that they can do it, like you do it.
Yep.
And the way that started for me was, you can go to a library and get data. I can pick up a book and read about martial arts. Then I could be a teacher. I could learn enough, pass a bunch of tests that say I have the knowledge, and I could go and teach it. I could stand up in front, puke it out of my mouth. They could look at the book and go, hey, look, yeah, he's teaching. And I could be a professor. Then I could be the next level, which is an instructor who instructs and does it step by step by step. Then there's this person that comes alongside you and guides you, knowing exactly what you're doing. They guide you step by step, teach, and use all the information. And that person is a mentor. Then the coach is somebody that comes along, uses data, teaching, instruction, guiding, finds somebody, sets you up with them, has you do time with them, has you look, here's somebody that's winning over here, and here's you to look and see, and how do you mirror this person over here? And the goal is to create ownership, so that you own the conversation, you own the activity. And that's hitting the bullseye, where you're doing it. You're the one taking the action from all of the other input. And that, for me, is the biggest difference between a mentor and a coach, right? A mentorship is somebody that comes alongside you and you're paying for their expertise in your field that
Yep.
you want to duplicate. And that's a way they can be compensated for sharing their trials and tribulations to get to the quotient that provides a solution. And you pay for that.
Yep.
And for me, that is, I love that. And as a coach, I've pointed out people to be mentors. I've had friends that have businesses work with one of my clients because they're in the same field and they don't see it as competition. And they enjoy teaching, instructing, guiding. And why do they do that? They see the value in their own education rising up as they share it, as they watch somebody follow their lead, and they can tweak it along the way. So that's the exciting part to me
Yep.
about mentorship versus coaching.
Yeah, it's just having that person that is doing what you are doing, but they're down the road further than you are, and you want to get to where they are. And having somebody there who can kind of guide you and show you not the specific way, because maybe the way they did it isn't the way it works for you, but kind of giving you a structure or a baseline to say, hey, this is what I've done. This is how it worked for me. The idea will work for you. Implementation is the difference, right? Because like with my mentor, I mean, he's got, he's very successful, but the way he does things, he even says it. He goes, don't do it how I do it. It's not going to work for you. This works for me. But the idea of what I'm doing, take that and restructure it and put it in your own words, in your own ideas, and come out with something similar to it, but that is your idea and something that works for you. Because if you just cut and paste, it's not going to work.
No.
Right? It's just not going to work. He does things. He lives in a different place. He does things differently. His schools are different. Everything is different than how I do things. Other than we both teach martial arts, right? But he runs his business differently than I run mine, and that's okay. So it's just a matter of figuring out what I can glean from his knowledge and his expertise and his experience and use for me. And then whatever I can't use, I just get rid of it because I don't need it. It won't do me any good. It'll actually probably do more harm.
Well, what's interesting too, though, is for him as a mentor, he hears and sees what you're doing. And oftentimes, when mentors gather information and gather stuff from their students and they put it into their own mix, another solution appears.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is a brand new one.
Yep.
That comes with the experience of your mentor and the experience of a new and up and coming.
Yep.
And that to me is the miracle of collaboration.
Yeah, you can meld two ideas together and come up with something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, I know as being a mentor myself to my students, I learn as well, right? I take what I'm getting from them, same thing. Okay, now I can use that maybe for me or for another one of my mentees. That might work for this person over here. Let's try that, right? So it's kind of a back and forth. We're learning from each other, right? Obviously, I'm learning more from him than he's learning from me, but at the same time, he's still getting information that is important for him that he can use as well.
The the one thing that I was just, as I was reading this, looking at this document, the piece where it says mentorship is a responsibility, not a reward. Being mentored reinforces stewardship over status. This is about protecting standards, not chasing titles. Leadership means carrying the culture forward intact. And I think there's some greatness to be shared there. Is there are people that, will jump up and put their hands up, hey, I want to be a mentor. And then when they get down to it, they're not mentoring, they're teaching.
Yep.
And as a teacher, the person that's being mentored doesn't get the experience of being unique and independent on what is unique and independent about me that I'm bringing to the situation that is now going to contribute to the global community and take us to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something lost in the telling versus helping, right? I'm alongside you, assisting you in what you're doing and not standing in front of you telling you what I'm doing.
Or what I've done, and
Yeah.
that you should do this to be successful.
Yep. I've done it, so it'll work for you too. No.
And the biggest, I mean, this is why when people ask me about coaching, I say, this is my view. This is what I've gone through the fire for and created, and here's what came out of it. Now, if you can glean snippets from that and then take those snippets and step into your own shoes, your own world, and your own breakdown, and see what shows up in your world for the next breakthrough. That's where the power comes. And for me, I don't look at it as, well, how come you're not giving me credit? Because I'm the one that told you about blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's like an instructor, a professor, right? The librarian.
Filling you with information.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, okay, no offense, but a lot of people could step up to the plate and do that.
Mm-hmm.
The question that I see, and the place for me that I see is just so powerful in this game of mentorship, is that we come equally equipped to the table. And based on that equality, we get to strive and strike through into that next level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hitting that next level, right? I think one of the things too is, like, if you're someone who, okay, maybe you do humble yourself enough to get a mentor, right? And you get successful because of the assistance that you got from your mentor. And then you get to a point where, like, I don't need him anymore. Right? Well, yeah, you do. You need him more now than ever, because you're still in a place where you haven't been before. Right? And that's the whole point of the mentor, is like, okay, I've done this before. I know what's coming. I can see the pitfalls that are going to happen in front of you. But now you're too stubborn again to realize you still need a mentor. It may not even be that same person. Maybe it's somebody else. But if you decide that you know it all, you've got everything figured out, you're going to right back to square one again. If you the I don't know, arrogance of thinking you can do it all yourself, that's what got you in the problem in the first place, that you needed a mentor, right? So it's that continuation. It may be a different direction you're taking. Maybe the mentor you currently have isn't doing what works for you anymore. Maybe it's something else that you need to get taken care of. Who's who can fill that gap for you and come alongside you, right? Take the baton, I guess, and go to that next level.
I look at mentorship as being the key to not allowing your ego to break you.
Yep.
Because I can promise you, if my ego were to run my day, it would be bad news.
Best day ever.
Because at some level I could look back with a view of my ego and go, look at all the jobs I've done, completed. Look at all the places I've succeeded. Look at all the places that I've reached this super high level.
Look
Blah,
how
blah, blah,
awesome
blah,
I
blah.
am.
Huh?
Look how awesome I am.
Look how awesome I am. And then sit back and go, okay, so now what? I remember specifically, and I don't know if I've told you this story, Mr. Yarwood, but I think it's appropriate in this conversation. When I was in the what I call PhD stages of my coaching training, and I was assigned a coach, and his name is Roni. I'll just leave it at that. And I was still dealing with my own jerkiness, my own arrogance, my own like I'm going to be really good at this. And I remember him talking about integrity, and I caught him. And I was so excited because I caught my coach being wrong. And I went to him, and I'll never forget, I was sitting on the phone in the parking lot saying, and you are wrong. And this is my evidence. And I can't believe, he goes, and he takes a deep breath and he goes, okay, Les, you're right. I was wrong. Now what?
Yep.
You know the directive is to have your coach win. And when your coach wins, you win.
Mm-hmm.
You just proved that I lost. So now what?
Yep. Where do we go from here?
Oh, and it was one of the most humbling moments of my life, because I just felt so empty in the moment. Like, oh my gosh, I just killed my coach.
It's almost like your goal the entire time leading up to that was to figure out how he was wrong versus accepting his coaching with his faults.
And instead of coming together as a partnership, a collaborative, because he knew a lot and he had been up against the wall many times. So he saw a lot of himself in me. And when I finally confronted how obnoxious I'd been and what a jerk had been to him, and he said, Les, there are some times we're so right in where we're standing that we're actually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that are out there listening that are married, just the fact that I said that, there are some of you that will know exactly. You can be black and white, 100% correct.
And still be wrong.
and still be wrong enough to lose dinner. And, my challenge to you of looking and seeing mentorship, when I got how I killed off my coach and then I called to restore integrity and complete and reignite it, I saw in him the ability for me to not be perfect and make it to where his level was at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where that humility piece comes
Oh
in.
my God. And that was because for him, I knew, like I looked at him and the way he was, for him to say, yep, I was wrong, took a ton, at
Yeah.
least in my mind.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And you were probably expecting him to fight you.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Yes. All right. Fine. Here it is. And you're like, took all the wind out of your sails too.
And he just sat back. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. I was wrong. And I'm sorry for that. So now where do we go from here? And I was speechless because I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yep. They're like, I don't know. I've never done this before. You're the coach. You tell me.
Yeah. You know, and when I said something like that, he said, yeah, but you just killed me. You
Mm-hmm.
just killed me off. The other thing, when you're being a mentor, you're being and leading somebody from where you've been in your experiences. For me as a coach, I'm not necessarily leading from that place. I'm leading from the place that I see where you are and the place that most closely resembles that from where I am. And we come together and create
Mm-hmm.
something. And in, just to close the loop on that story, he and I became super great friends. I had a huge breakthrough in who I was as a leader and the experience that I brought with me. But that was a huge thing for him
Mm-hmm.
and for me.
Yeah.
You want to jump into the closing thought?
Yeah. I was looking at that. So, and that's kind of, if you think about when we're, you're thinking about a mentor, they're guiding you, right, to success. That's part of the goal, right? But like we said, you get one mentor and then all of a sudden you think you've made it, right? You've hit the top of the ladder, so to speak. Well, it's not really, that's not how it works, right? You're getting up there, right? I just thought of like, do you remember the game Donkey Kong?
Yes.
You had to climb the ladder and then he go down a girder and then climb another ladder. That's like mentorship. You get up one ladder and you're not there yet. Now you got to go down this girder. You got to avoid more obstacles, jump over the barrels, do all that stuff, and then you got to go up another ladder, right? And what's at the very top up there? Is that success? No, there's a big giant gorilla who's ready to pound you back down again, right? And you got to start all over.
Yep.
Or if you pass that level, you got to do another level, right? So there's no end, there's no conclusion, right? It's a continuation. And when you're working with something like that, I guess there's times it'll probably get frustrating for you, but you have to understand that the old saying, life's a journey, not a destination. You're never going to get to the end of what you're trying to do, right? There's always going to be something. And that mentor, whether it's that one or you find a new one along the way, there's always going to be somebody there, and you're going to go up and then you're going to go back down again. Then you're going to go up and then you're going to go back down again, right? So you're creating this, it's this succession, this ongoing loop, I guess you could say, that's going to get you eventually where you want to go. But no matter what happens, you're never going to be done until you, I don't know, until you die, I guess. But it's just, it's a perpetual motion type of thing. So you just keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing, get to the next level and start all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an interesting journey. I'm excited. I can tell you, well, one thing, I don't know where I'd be without having been coached.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I was not a fun necessarily. I could be a fun person to be around, but it wore off very
Yeah.
quickly. So thank you.
Yep.
As I just ruminate on this, thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation and look and see what are some of the things that are different, right? Because the skills that are required for both are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And the both coaching and mentorship are used for developing who you are as a person. It's just the structure and the outcome are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So make sure you're looking for and talking with the person that's on the track that you want to be on.
Yep. And humble yourself and listen.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'm going to go
Yes,
ahead
sir.
and wrap it up. Here we